All right, so we are live. We're going to wait a couple of seconds while everyone streams in.
Trying to minimize people hearing me and Ashley at the same time. That echo.
We'll just wait a couple more seconds and then we'll get started. Okay, so I think it's been long enough. Hopefully everyone is coming into our Zoom and spilling over onto YouTube Live, which is where we're also broadcasting this so that everyone has access to our back to school night presentation. Welcome to Virtual Academy's High School Back to School Night. I'm Ashley Winter. I coordinate our Virtual Academy, and I also would love if our team could introduce themselves before we get started. Mr. Cashman, would you like to begin?
Yes, I'm Eli Cashman. I'm the Dean of Alternative Programs and part of the Virtual Academy.
Ms. O'Connell.
I am Kathleen O'Connell, and I am one of the counselors at our Community 360 Counseling Center and also helping to support our Virtual Academy team.
Thank you. So I'm just going to share my screen so that we can get started. All right, team, can you see what I see?
Yes.
All right, there we go.
There it is.
All right, so a quick agenda for our half an hour together. Mr. Gleason is here to join us tonight. We will introduce our teachers to you as well by subject, talk about Virtual Academy program details for the high school, share some resources and final notes with you. Mr. Gleason, welcome, you're up.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here and welcome to the first. You'll all be able to say you were at the inaugural Virtual Academy Back to School Night when you come back for the alumni dances. So welcome to all of you. I just want to acknowledge a few things. First off, want to just share with you this. This has been such an interesting year. And I know also it's an imperfect year in that way. And what's been just exciting to see is since July 24th, a program for over 2,000 students has been launched and got off the ground. And I want to give hats off to Ms. Winter, Mr. Cashman, Ms. O'Connell, and the whole team for their leadership to pull that off. And whenever you launch a new program, there's, it's exciting, but there's also turbulence. And one of the things I just want to share with the whole community is that the values we approached, I'm going to share some frequently asked questions. So one is, why didn't we know what classes we'd get until July, until August? And that is because we didn't know who was signed up for the Virtual Academy and what they were signed up for until July 24th. And then we had just a few weeks to build it. And with that, a value we approached the Virtual Academy this year was to try and give every student who was in the Virtual Academy the courses they signed up for. To do that meant to get creative. And again, hats off to the team for their creativity and partnering with Apex and Fuel and National and Scout to help get your children the courses that they need. And these are courses that are not new to LVUSD nor providers. We have had students take these courses through those providers for many years. All that to say, as things start to settle in, and we will continue, first off, to continue to work very hard for your kids, continue to evolve our program, but also to continue to have that value set of trying to meet our students' needs where they're at. And as this season progresses and we go out of this pandemic eventually. What we do know is that a number of families just been heartwarmed to hear that this alternative model has been the fit that they were looking for all along for their students. And our commitment is to attempt to continue this post-pandemic as well for those that are enjoying this model as we also continue to evolve. Just a big show of gratitude to our faculty and to our counselors who Ms. O'Connell has worked with so closely, and the whole team to help set up our schedule, and also our year counselors at the site, but also our faculty who have really been flexible and also adjusting everything that they've done to be there and be present to teach your kids. And then last, big shout out to you as parents. Many of you are, most of you are navigating, doing two roles, supporting your child at home while they navigate this virtual environment, while also working and supporting your families. And that's not easy. And your support is definitely felt by our team here, and we greatly appreciate it. So thanks for being here tonight. I'm proud to be here at our very first, knowing that it'll be the first of many. And thank you for all your flexibility, support, and adaptivity over the course of the last few weeks.
Thank you. So to shift gears a little bit, we are going to introduce you to our amazing high school teachers who have been, as Mr. Gleason said, working so hard because they love your kiddos. So we want to sort of reiterate our appreciation for them and their dedication. They're not panelists on here live with us, but they are live watching. And so consider them here with us.
You'll get to meet them later on tonight in their classes. So let's get started. In the English department, we have Mrs. Fragoso, Mrs. Voigt, I believe is pronounced correctly, Voigt covering for Miss Munther, and then we have Miss Neighborhouse and Mrs. Risk.
In our math department, Mr. K, Mrs. Green, Miss Ozar, Miss Myers covering for her right now, and Mr. Salem.
For social sciences, we have Mrs. Hambley, Mr. Paskey, and Ms. Shields.
Mrs. Bennett, Mrs. Diamond, who is being supported by Mrs. Thompson right now, and Mr. Gousset.
In the world languages department, we have Mr. Carpenter.
And Mr. Rosenthal is our PE teacher.
Our amazing elective teachers are Mrs. Freilich, Mrs. Hambley, Mr. K, Mrs. Murray, and Mrs. Tiano. Extra shout out to this group of teachers who, as Mr. Gleason talked about the need for flexibility, these are teachers who are super flexible. I think I'll talk about this later on in the presentation. So yeah, I think that's right now, right? So elective courses are delivered through a dual teacher model. Again, Mr. Gleason talked about the value of wanting to give students the courses that they need. And so we had to get creative. And part of it is this model where they have a content specialist online. And in addition to that, they have our teacher who mentors them and supports them, checks on their progress, answers basic questions, maybe not necessarily content specific questions. Those would be the content specialists. But they do provide one-on-one support, and they serve as a liaison between the student and the teacher through our partner, be it say Apex or Fuel or whatever it is. These teachers are just. I want to say thank you to this group. I know you're there listening, and I know you can't respond, but they are so flexible in the way that they are doing so many different things all at the same time. They're supporting a group of students who are, some of them, doing completely different things. One could be doing a math class while somebody else is doing an art class, and they're really balancing so much all at the same time. As Mr. Gleason said, it wasn't perfectly smooth. There were some things we had to work out, and we're still figuring out the final touches. So again, thank you for your support and your professionalism. You guys are amazing.
Can I say two things to that, Ms. Winter?
Yes,
Sorry, I can't help myself sometimes. So
that's okay.
first off, a couple things. So first is, if your child is in an elective and they come home and they say, I don't know how to contact my teacher, that's what their LVUSD elective teacher is there to help support. Because what's great about this model, and this is not new to LVUSD, we had this operating at Calabasas and Agora High School beginning last year, is that there is both a LVUSD credentialed teacher, but then as Mr. Cashman said, there is a certified credentialed content specialist as well that can provide small group or one-on-one instruction, can provide office hours. So if your child's in need and not finding that support, reach out and know that that support exists, okay?
Thank you. So also to touch on special education teachers who are supporting all of their students through a hybrid model. So all of our students who are in special education classes or special education program are still receiving all of the services outlined in their IEPs through this model. So a bit of information about our program specifically. As Mr. Gleason said, we built the program based around the needs of our community, your needs that you shared with us via survey on July 24th. And I would also just like to echo a shout out to our counseling teams, our teachers, and all of our staff who worked so hard to get a program for over 2,300 students up and running in 3 weeks. It was a Herculean effort, and we most certainly could not have done it without them. So lots of gratitude to them. And again, to you, our families and our students for supporting those teachers and staff members and counselors through that time, and also for sharing your feedback with us. We can't get better without partnerships with our community and our families. So we're grateful for that as well. All of our teachers use either Zoom or Meets to connect with kids, and they all use Google Classroom. So in the event that Zoom goes down for some reason, Google Meets will be a backup, and vice versa. If Google Meets goes down ever, Zoom can be a backup. I also want to talk about attendance. I know I mentioned this in my weekly Wednesday videos that went home last night. But the attendance requirements in the spring were very different than the attendance requirements for Virtual Academy and distance learning now. And this is true for a virtual model or an on-campus model that's doing distance learning. We have mandates from the state that we need to meet. But to be really honest with you, more than just meeting mandates required by the state, teachers signed up to be teachers because they want to teach kids, and they can't do that if kids don't come to class. So this is a reminder that students do need to be present in every single period, every single day, just as they would if they were attending in person. The method of delivery is virtual, but the expectations and desire to support your students is still high and still the same. And then I am going to let Ms. O'Connell talk about counseling support from site counselors and also Community 360 and how those intersect and support kids.
Thank you, Mrs. Winter. So given that we are navigating such a unique structure this year and really leaning into the value that you heard Mr. Gleason say at the beginning, which is getting our students' needs met, I am so privileged to be able to show you our spread of incredible counselors that we have across both of our high schools. We have 8 incredible counselors, 4 at each site. This is the slide for you to look at if you don't yet know who your student's counselor is. They are broken down by alphabet. And there is a plethora of research and data that shows us how important having a trusted adult on campus is for our kids' well-being, especially in a time that can add additional stressors, such as being in the middle of a pandemic and learning how to Zoom every day for our academics. So please reach out to your counselor. Your site counselor will continue to be your main point of contact for any academic, social, or emotional support that your student might be needing throughout the year. Now, above and beyond these counselors who have been working so hard to get your kids into classes and to start touching base with them and getting to build rapport and relationships, we also have an additional layer of support. We have an innovative and incredible program that our district has brought in to help support families and students at an increased level. This is our Community 360 Counseling Center. And if you haven't yet gone and visited our website, community360.me, again, it's community360.me, please do so. There is a range of resources on this website, and it's also where you will be able to schedule direct counseling appointments should you feel that your student or you as a parent need some more tools and strategies to navigate the year. We have 4 incredible counselors here as well, and we are here to help you make the most of this unique year.
Thank you. In the follow-up email that I send with this recording to families, I'll be sure to link the Community 360 website. You're muted, Mr. Cashman.
I just realized I'm muted. So here's our schedule. And if your student is a freshman, this is new, but otherwise this is mostly familiar. So I'll come back to Monday. Monday is a traditional schedule. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays are odd, meaning periods 0 is always on, and then 1, 3, 5, and then Wednesdays and Fridays are even, so it's 2, 4, 6, again with the 0 period. Monday, for those of you who had a student in the high schools last year was a little different. It was, the order was 1, 3, 5, then 2, 4, 6. We changed it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It makes more sense when you look at it. There was a reason why it was done the way it was done, but that's not for today's discussion. Anyway, so that's the reason we do it. And most days off are Mondays. If there's a holiday, we lose, and that way, when we lose a day, we lose all periods. If Monday was, let's say, an even day, then we would end up losing more even days than odd days. So that's why we scheduled it that way. So that is it for the schedule. But something that's really, really important on Monday, PLC collaboration, you see that from 7:55 to 8:48. That's time for our staff to meet, and we do meet and we discuss and we listen to your feedback, and we try to make something, a plan accordingly to make the school year the best experience possible for your students. All other days have a support period. So if you look at any other dates from 7:55 to 8:30, 35 minutes when students can come in to the teacher's Zoom and just check in and come in and ask questions, ask for additional help, or just chat about whatever it is that they need. So please encourage your students to go and show up. School doesn't just start at 8:38. It starts at 7:55. Have them come in and use that time because it's really valuable. It's a great way to get the additional support that most students could benefit from.
Thank you. It's also a time as a teacher where you get to build relationships with kids and talk about their interests and hobbies. And all of our teachers try to integrate that into their curriculum as well. But it's such a great opportunity for students who show up to class early or just want a trusted adult to connect to. That's a really great place to do that as well. And I will also send this as a PDF file in the presentation follow-up so that you can print it out and put it on your fridge or bathroom mirror or student workspace, wherever is a helpful spot.
And here's one more you might want to print and put in your fridge. I'm not sure, but a few tips for parents in how to deal with students who are at school, at home. So one is to make space, create a space for learning. Try to make that a separate place from the place where kids go to sleep. There's something psychological that happens when you know that you're not in the place where you go to sleep, but this is a place to study. Also try to minimize distractions in that learning space. So if you work from home, try to make it so that maybe the camera is faced away so students don't get distracted. Also keep in mind that sometimes we see a child on their computer, but we don't realize it's a whole class, right? So if somebody's walking behind me, all of you get to see it, right? So keep that in mind as well. Next is create a routine. Routines are so important. I often talk about the fact that when we do go to work, when we get in the car and drive, there's that break. There is that I'm moving away, I'm going away from home mode and I'm getting in the car and I'm going to work mode. And on the same thing on the way back. And when we do school from home, that's a little difficult. So try to find something. Somebody shared last week that they listen to music and they dance in the morning in between the time they wake up and brush their teeth to the time that they start school. Maybe it's walking the dog or whatever it is, some sort of a routine that is the same every day. That really, really helps. Set an alarm. Nowadays with phones, you can set up 6 different alarms for 6 different class periods. Make sure kids are dressed appropriately for school. And this is not just for the being appropriate for dress code, but rather when you dress differently from your PJs, you feel different. And that's also really important. Wear headphones. Headphones are really helpful to minimize distractions. Just keep one thing in mind, that when a student has their headphones on, the people around don't hear what's on the computer, but if there's a TV playing in the background, the whole class might hear that when the student is not muted. So just keep that in mind. But headphones really help to minimize distractions. And one thing that might be most important here is take a break. Take a break because now we have to be on a screen. And so when it's break time, stop, get off the computer, get off the phone, stare at something that's more than just 18 inches away from you, get some sun, get some fresh air. And I'm looking outside, it doesn't look like it's fresh air right now, but under normal circumstances, try to spend some time outside, get that vitamin D, get some fresh air. Next one is ask for help. We're all human and things might not be perfect and you may have some questions and things might be confusing. Reach out to the teacher, reach out to the counselors, reach out to the coordinator or myself, so we can work together. We're all here to support our students. And practice empathy. I think, again, we're all here together to help one another. We need to also understand one another.
Thank you. So some final notes, as you probably have seen, we are sending videos on Wednesdays to just sort of check in, provide you with weekly updates, let you know sort of what's coming down the pike. And we also don't have the privilege of standing in a carpool line with you or interacting with you on campus the way that we might have. And so this is another way that we are hoping to build community and build relationships with you. And then also to that end, we are hosting for our secondary families Coffee with the Coordinator and Danish with the Dean. So if you would like to join myself and Mr. Cashman, we will be hosting a webinar on the 22nd that you can send questions into so that we can get to know you and answer some of your questions in smaller groups. We will record that in the same way we're recording this, and we record everything for any families who are not able to attend live with us, but still are interested in hearing our information. We'll post that via Parent Square as always.
Ms. Winter, I heard a rumor that there might be churros with the counselor coming up too. Is that possible?
Yes.
O'Connell, could be.
Yeah, I think I might need like a more breakfasty item though.
I want to share something hot off the presses tomorrow, so you're getting a preview of this, because it really lines up with what Mr. O'Connell, Mr. Cashman, Ms. Winter have shared in terms of support. Tomorrow, you'll get an email from Dr. Stepanowski that will officially launch our student tutoring and also student activity system. So those that have been with our district for the last year know that in the spring of last year, we have high school students who have volunteered to be tutors to support our students. So that will be coming out, as well as volunteering to provide activities for our younger kids for connection. So if you're finding your high school student is really in need of some purpose and support and some of that consistency, you can reach out to me and we can get them involved in that program as well, because it's a great mutual support for our community.
That's great and really hot off the press. So some final notes as we wrap up our presentation. This year is different, as you well know, and so setting your intention for the day for yourself, but also for your students is a great and positive way to get started. Whatever that routine is for you or tradition, if you don't already have one with your family, it's a great way to develop one. If it's a dance party in the morning, if it's a positive affirmation, if it's a healthy breakfast, whatever it is that you can do to help your students start a successful day, we certainly encourage it. If you need ideas, we're always happy to help. And just a reminder that we are here to support you, our families, and our students. We're happy to be here with you. We're honored to be able to provide you with this program and looking forward to a successful school year. Agoura High School is also hosting their back to school night tonight. So if you are the family or parent of an Agoura High School student and you would like to go see Dr. McClay's presentation, that's next. They sent links through Parent Square as well. And if you are not, then you can just go to your students' class periods, which begin at 6:30 for all families, Agoura High School, Calabasas High School families. These presentations are led by our teachers, either through Zoom or Meets, and their links were all sent to you. As a friendly reminder, please sign in with your students' email account so that their Zoom recognizes LVUSD authenticated users. If you need the teacher's link because you can't access your student's account and you connected with them already, I know they sent a couple links out separately. And then this is the schedule. I'm going to leave it up for another moment in case anybody wants to take a screenshot of it, take a picture with their phone. This was also sent to you in an email, so you don't have to scramble to do that. And that's it. Mr. Cashman and I will be popping in and out of classes for the night. We look forward to seeing you later and wishing you a great evening. Bye, everybody.